Jon Moxley and Cody Rhodes return on AEW Dynamite. Big matches are set for next week's Beach Break, and an AEW star has been pulled from an event due to COVID. More on that in just a sec. Yes, hello everybody. We have quite an AEW heavy news video today because, well, all the news that came out was about AEW. So sorry, this isn't a bias or anything. We just love it. We love it so much. But no, Sam, it was a very noteworthy episode of Dynamite last night for two big reasons. Not least of which was Jon Moxley's emotional return, which was very nice to see, wasn't it?
Yeah, it was fantastic. I mean, the heckler was unexpected, but he handled it. He handled it with some swearing. He handled it quickly, swiftly, and get him out. And
then went on to cut a promo about a dream he had where there was like a metaphorical black cloud over him, and that represented his inner demons, and it was all very emotional, handled really well, and it had an optimistic tone at the end where he said, "No, I'm back. I feel free now," and all that sort of stuff. And then he closed it by saying, "I'm thirsty, but all I drink now is blood." Whoa, that's bad. But no, it was a very nice moment. Definitely. And then later on, Cody also made his return. He's not been away for as long, obviously.
No, but there's been speculation rampant about Cody recently, obviously, with all of the news that he may or may not be currently signed, that he's a free agent, that this could be, all a work, or it could be real, or, there's a lot going on in the realm of Cody Rhodes right now.
Yeah, and there was a lot in his promo as well, because on the surface, the promo was to set up the upcoming the ladder match for the TNT Championship between himself and Sammy Guevara, but there was a lot in this promo, a lot of weird stuff. I think he wanted it to come across like he was kind of shooting.
Yeah, just shooting from the hip a little bit.
Yeah, he referenced a whole load of stuff. Talked about how he's still not going to turn heel, basically, and talked about how Tony Khan sent him and Sammy their contracts in the mail for this match coming up. Yeah. But it might not be the contract he wants right now, which I guess is a reference to his ongoing contract situation.
Yeah.
Also, he seemingly made reference to the Gunther situation in NXT, where I believe he said that we don't change people's names to Gunner McBillabuddy or something like that. So
it's just reminded me of Accountability Buddies.
Yes, yeah. Someone in AEW Creative loves silly sounds like that. But no, there was a lot in this promo. We've not really covered it all there. Definitely check it out. Yeah. Some of it you might like, some of it you might not. It's Cody, so he's going to divide opinion. But those were the sort of the main two things on Dynamite, or the main two promo segments. However, there were also a lot of matches set up because next week it's a special edition of Dynamite. It's Beach Break. So, Sam, what were some of the matches that were set up?
So we have Cody and Sammy Guevara colliding in a title unification ladder match, as we know.
Because Cody had to vacate the TNT. So I get it, unificate. Yeah, okay. So I should have mentioned that. Sorry.
We've got Adam Cole taking on Orange Cassidy in a lights out match. We've got Chris Jericho, Santana, and Ortiz against Daniel Garcia and 2.0, and we've also got Red Velvet going up against Layla Hirsch. So the card is shaping up to be quite nice. Beach Break, all of the AEW special edition episodes, they all tend to be pretty, I mean, sometimes monumental, but they always tend to be pretty, above average. And I like that they do these shows. I think that it's a nice kind of bit of punctuation rather than just going pay-per-view, pay-per-view, pay-per-view. And they seem to always do well with them. So fingers crossed this is going to continue that trend on.
I think so as well. One that I'm particularly looking forward to is Adam Cole versus Orange Cassidy.
Yeah.
Especially because one of the biggest matches last night was Cole and Britt Baker teaming up to take on Orange Cassidy and Chris Statlander. Yeah. And then they did the old Cody and Brandy spot, the old Triple H and Steph, where there was a miscommunication and it led to Britt Baker being sent through a table on the outside. Yeah. And Adam Cole did the same face he does when he loses at Uno, and went like, and was really vengeful. So that should be a really fun match as well. Yeah. Somebody who was absent last night and was indeed pulled from an event in a different promotion was Nyla Rose, who has reportedly tested positive for COVID-19. She was due to compete for the Enjoy Wrestling promotion on Saturday, but the company released a statement saying she'd been pulled from the event due to her positive test. Yeah. I believe, correct me if I'm wrong, but I believe she's from the Washington, D.C. area. So it is a shame that she had to miss last week's Dynamite, especially.
Yeah.
Or maybe she's from like Baltimore, like around that sort of area.
Yeah, it's kind of listed as a sort of a homecoming for her. So it's something where, you know, it sucks, but AEW will be back around, and you know, so long as she's healthy and she's well afterwards, that's all that matters, right?
Yeah, absolutely. Obviously, we both recently got COVID, and that was
it was a bag of fun.
But no, hopefully she's fine. Yes, it would have apparently been a homecoming, and this appearance has likely been nixed, as we said, to the COVID-19 diagnosis. She did last wrestle on this past Friday's edition of AEW Rampage, so I'm guessing they've only just recently found out.
Yes.
So that makes sense. But, you know, fair play to her, well done for taking all the right precautions and all that sort of thing. And also, I did say this was AEW heavy, but we got some AEW contract news as well, which is that according to a report from Fightful, AEW star Joey Janela's contract is set to expire in May. The report says Janella said during an interview that he enjoys wrestling in AEW and would like to remain with the company. In the past, outside of controversial talent, linked to like speaking out and that sort of thing, AEW has allowed contracts to expire in most cases instead of releasing talent before their deals are up. Janella spoke highly of AEW and says that he's hoped to bridge the gap between AEW and GCW and the relationship between the two. He is set to take on Matt Cardona, the report reminds us, the World this weekend on GCW. I know he's not been as heavily involved as we may have thought.
Yeah, initially.
When it was first announced that he would be part of AEW. But I'd still be sad to see Janella go, definitely.
Yeah, definitely. I think it's just a bit the best of both worlds, right, for people in AEW right now, because they can largely, well, I think everybody can go and take indie bookings if they want. They can go and work elsewhere. They can sort of balance their time between AEW and their wider indie wrestling career. And somebody who is obviously huge on the indie scene is Joey Janela. I think Joey Janela's a get for any company that would want to get a hold of him. I think that he's able to bring something to everything he does, and he has that independent cred, and so long as AEW is going to continue to allow him to work elsewhere, then it's a no-brainer. Like, when you look at a WWE contract that just locks you down, Yeah,
I agree as well. But yeah, I mean, there's probably a lot this is what I was saying to Adam on a recent news video, is that the thing that I'm realizing now is that at the start, you know, AEW was like, it was like, wow, what an amazing place with all these indie talents thrown together. And now that it's a couple of years old, you realize, well, contracts will expire and people will get, like, not everyone's going to get their contracts renewed. And it is sad, but I guess you've got to remind yourself that it's a business, you know.
It's the way she goes, I guess.
Yeah.
To use the Trailer Park Boys quote.
It is a shame. It is a shame. And I guess finally we'll round off with Cassie Lee, the former Peyton Royce, on Twitter, who responded to a match last night on Dynamite by tweeting, "Come on, WTF," and then 4 poop emojis, because she doesn't explain what she's referring to, but presumably it's the fact that her husband in real life, Shawn Spears, was squashed by CM Punk in seconds. It was an instant loss for Shawn Spears. I understand, especially because Shawn Spears is a very technically sound in-ring wrestler and experienced, and he trains others and all the rest of it. I understand that you'll want to see, you know, your partner be able to show off their talent in front of a big audience in a big match against the likes of CM Punk. But at the same time, Spears does this sort of stuff so well, like the being made a fool of stuff so well. So I don't know where I really stand on this.
She's allowed to not like it. She might want her husband to beat CM Punk every week. You know, it could just be purely from a viewing standpoint like that. And ultimately, you can say that Spears does maybe deserve a lot more than those 7 seconds. But as you said, he does well within that realm, and I don't think it's at the point where, you know, it's hammered home in a WWE way where it's overly harmful to the talent. You know, he's not losing like this every single time, but I think it's a big shock moment, and somebody like CM Punk, I guess it does make sense because legend, right? Yeah,
I just hope that it wasn't, you know, I hope it wasn't cut for time, and that it was initially supposed to be like a 10-minute match.
What you hope is that CM Punk walked into that building, grabbed Tony Khan, and pointed at every single wrestler and he was like 7 seconds, the lot of them.
Yes.
And it's just going to be week after
we'll
week.
We'll see it. It's the start of
until Punk has all of the belts, and then he just walks out. Back to WWE.
Oh, it's not the worst idea of a no joke. On that wonderful note, Sam, thank you very much for doing this news video with me. I believe we'll be back later on with another news video as well, so stay tuned for that. And leave your thoughts and opinions on any of these stories in the comment section down below. Have a good day, and we'll see you very soon.